Are Arsenal the best team in the world at set pieces?
I think we are. Not even at just set pieces. I think we're the best team in the world, mate.
Arsenal are flying high towards the top end of the Premier League, 2 points behind Liverpool, a point behind Manchester City. And maybe their success is down to just quite how good they are at set pieces.
Shout out Nicolas Jover. Arrived at the Emirates Stadium at the beginning of the 21-22 season. And I think when he came in, his initial impact was to make us defensively solid at the back from set pieces. I think in that first season when he came in, we didn't concede a goal from a set piece, I think until like April. So his initial impact was defensively. But now we're seeing Arsenal become, which you probably wouldn't say with this guy at the helm, Arsenal will become a set piece team. But is that what's going on?
Yeah, it's a massive discredit to call Arsenal just a set-piece team. But 17 of their goals this season have come from set pieces. That's not including penalties. Just to give you an idea, Manchester City have 10 and Liverpool have 7.
Sean Dyche's Everton have 13.
That says all you need to know about it. But this is what could really give them the edge in the title challenge. But what makes them so good at set pieces?
Talk to me, Luke.
So, one of the things that people have highlighted at Arsenal, these stats are coming from Opta Analyst. Check out the little read-through in the description. Arsenal pack the 6-yard area with an average of 3.31 players.
Yeah, you see a lot of times where you've got Ben White hugging the goalkeeper. A lot of times, sometimes it gets given for a foul. But if you put pressure on the goalkeeper, I saw in that Burnley game, the way they were pressuring James Trafford, who I don't think is the best keeper anyway, the way that they just wouldn't let him come out and claim the ball at a set piece. And Arsenal, yeah, with the amount of men they've got in the 6-yard box, it's hard to manage.
100%. You brought up Ben White. Their use of a blocker is one of the keys in how effective they are, because they stop the opposition, the strongest opposition opponents, who are most likely to get their head on the ball, from moving freely. They block their path. So your players, the likes of Gabriel, your Salibas, your Declan Rice, if he's not taking the set piece, they've got a good chance of getting their head on the ball. Another thing they do so well is their distribution of corners. Always an in-swinger, never an out-swinger.
I think that's why we're seeing, when it's a left-sided corner, Declan Rice takes the corner. I saw Arteta say that all he does at training post teamwork is just practice corners, and apparently his consistency is insane. Hence why we see him on the corners all the time, getting assists. Shout out Jamie Talks, who he tweeted when Arsenal played West Ham, why is Declan Rice taking corners? And to the untrained eye, it is a weird thing, because he's a big lad, should be in the box. But when you've got consistent delivery, that helps not only the players in the box, but it helps like the rest of the team know what they're doing, because it's not like one of those players where all your team come up for a corner, centre-backs and whatever, and then the corner doesn't get past the first man, and all the centre-backs are thinking, why don't I make the journey up there for? If you get a consistent delivery every single time, which is Declan Rice and then Saka on the other side, you're going to get goals, mate.
100%. Their distribution of where the corners actually end up is always towards that front post. We've got 29% landed at the front post or just behind the front post to where the goalkeeper is. And it's always that weird scramble. I know we've seen a lot of incidents this season where there's been leading into players, whether it's for Arsenal given against Arsenal. But it's that physicality. I mean, you look at their team, the amount of height they got in their team. You've got Ben White, you've got Gabriel, you've got Saliba, you've got Declan Rice, you've got Kai Havertz. You know, that's just to name a few of.
We were talking about this with Man City last year but this wasn't for Man City, it wasn't for set pieces. It was just to dominate the game in the physical presence. They had Haaland, De Bruyne, Rodri, John Stones, Akanji, Ake. They would dominate the actual play with their size, whereas Arsenal have decided similar, get the big lads in, but the benefit is dominating set pieces.
100%. I mean, it is a remarkable part of the game because, and perhaps something that's only really had its focus turned to it in recent times. We're seeing every team that has set piece specialists. I know Tifo just done a video. John McKenzie spoke to a freelance set piece analyst, and teams will literally hire him and he'll analyze set pieces for them. And it's more easy to focus on what you can do as opposed to what you can do to stop opposition teams from scoring from their set pieces, because you can predict what you can do.
Yeah.
But you can't really predict every time what the opposition are going to do. It's that physical presence, though, for me.
100%.
That's 100% what it is. It's consistency of delivery. It's the physical presence. It's the overload in the box. I mean, if we go back to the statistic of how Arsenal packed the 6-yard area, 3.31. The next highest is Bournemouth with what? Is it 2.48?
2.94.
2.94.
Yeah.
The lowest in the league is Liverpool with
0.99.
So nearly 3 or 2.5 men less than Liverpool. I mean, Liverpool aren't the biggest team. Their forward line isn't as big. They've only got really Nunez, who's an aerial threat. I know Jota gets a lot of headed goals as well. And then they've got the likes of Konate, Matip, Gomez, and Van Dijk. Yeah,
it is an interesting stat, because amongst the bottom 4, you've got Man City, Chelsea, and Liverpool with all under 1.3 players in there. So Arsenal have literally got triple the amount of players in the 6-yard box, and it's paying dividends. I don't know why other teams aren't doing a similar thing, packing the 6-yard box. I don't know what benefit. Obviously, it's like the kind of potential risk of a counter. If you've got so many men in the 6-yard box, you're going to get counted on. And then that brings into question players like, I saw Arteta say that the reason Declan Rice also, apart from his consistency of delivery, takes corners is because all he has to do then, whip it in and then run straight out into a defensive position. Whereas like if he's in the box, he's in there for the duration of the attack and then isn't there if Arsenal get countered on. So yeah, it's interesting.
100%. Guys, let us know down below. Is this how Arsenal are going to beat Man City and Liverpool to the Premier League title? It's been BoreDraw. And are Arsenal going to win the league?
Come on!